Two marker. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680. What is going on, everybody? Tell Lasso fans, how you doing? Richmond?
Hey everyone,
What's going on, man?
nice to be back. Nice to be back, and inviting you all to another review here.
Yeah, another review here, guys. Of Ted Lasso, ladies and gentlemen. Ted Lasso, episode 9. Episode 9. And I'm going to have Lex do this because he took French and I didn't. So, Lex, what you took French in high school. What was how do you say this? It's mixture.
Yeah, so it's a mixture here of the title saying La Locker Room au Folles, Folles, which I think it's a translation to like basically like locker room drama or locker room craziness.
Mhm.
So it's a little play of words in there, just hinting at what's to come on this episode. And based on the events that took place in the previous episode, we
Yes.
figured that there was some resolution due for this particular storyline of
Mhm.
uh, you know, Colin accidentally coming, or not coming forth, I should say, but being discovered by Isaac, the team captain,
Yeah, I guess in a way, I guess feeling a little vulnerable, a little exposed to definitely
for
by
sure.
Isaac. In this episode here, we're not gonna mention spoilers, by the way, guys. No spoilers. We will
No
mention and
spoilers.
we will put the thing up when we have spoilers. We will mention it, but not right now. As we always, if you have not already, guys, like, share, subscribe to us on our Alamo City Movie Talk channel. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that little subscribe notification, get notified for our movie reviews. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we will actually be, me and Lex, we will be at Dallas Fan Expo coming in June, guys. We will be live in Dallas, guys. Dallas Fan Expo coming out to you. Hayden Christian's going to be there. Rosario Dawson, not Kevin Smith. Where it's going to be a really great Comic Con show, guys. And we are excited. It's one of the probably for sure. It's definitely going to be my biggest one I've ever been to
Yeah,
in this for sure. I don't know about you, Lex, but
no,
um,
for sure.
okay, yeah, definitely for sure. Then, well, for both of us, then it's gonna be exciting. Be sure to check us out on there, and be sure to say hello if you do see us there. But let's get right to it. Back to this episode here. You know, a lot I could say that's happened in the previous episodes, right? A lot has
Yeah,
happened, and without spoiling it, of course, we and Lex, we always talk about like they're trying to set up, and that was the major. I could have sworn I remembered saying this. We have to go back to the videos, but a lot of footage to go through, but I could have sworn was like it almost was like the first two episodes, like at least for sure the first episode has always been like a setup in a way to where it sets up and it's trying to set up so many characters, right? It sets up so many characters. But in this episode, me and Lex talked about it off camera. This episode surprised me on another level to where it's very centered on one character. Like the main plot, I would say, is probably the one character. More centered on one person versus different characters is trying to exceed all these different character developments in one episode. And granted, yeah, the runtime for this episode actually came out to be 45 minutes, which you guys, moviegoers and Ted Lasso fans, you guys of course would know, but by watching the next episode. So it definitely is a little bit of less runtime than usual because the last two I think they were like what 56
yeah, we've
57
been
around
dealing with
there.
almost an hour
Yeah,
long
almost an hour.
episodes.
Not quite the hour, but almost.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
this is short, or this is probably the shortest of the season so far, which
It
I
didn't
don't
feel
think is
like it for me.
necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I really didn't feel like it whatsoever. I mean, not to say it was bad because it wasn't, but it didn't
It
feel
was
like.
well paced.
Yes, yeah, exactly, definitely.
And like we said, it's concealed in the sense that the story is revolving around one particular character. But make no mistake, there's
Yeah,
still progression being made, and we're getting more insights along with other characters. So it's not like it wasn't like a Beard episode, which is absolutely the most concealed it's been, right? Since it was
yeah,
Beard from beginning to end, right? Um,
outrageous,
but
outrageous
but
beard.
but
Yeah,
yeah, but in this case, it was just a little bit more of like just address once again something got left unresolved, and so this episode sought out to try and address that
mhm,
straightforward. And overall I think what we got is a very good episode
yeah,
that once again deals around like serious topics. However, definitely I felt more lightheartedness around this episode. There seems to be an energy around the town. Richmond is
yeah.
still on a positive note when it comes to the matchmaking or the
Mhm.
games themselves. And yeah, we saw a little bit of an uptick here in terms of the overall spirit of the team, while still having people kind of like confront each other and address certain feelings. So overall, a really great episode in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely, definitely more center based here. I completely agree with you. You brought up on a lot of good points here and everything, where it definitely brings about without spoiling it, right? So it's so hard
Yeah,
not to
yeah,
spoil
starting to
it. It's
spoiling.
so
Yeah,
hard, right? It's so hard to talk about it without spoiling it for you guys. But yeah, I mean, this episode, the runtime, I didn't. I watched it, or like this is the one episode. I'll be honest. This is the one episode I actually didn't look at the runtime, where I
hmm
was just like, oh, okay, real quick. Or I think we talked about, it was very brief. But the last two episodes, I've been like, oh, okay, it's 56 minutes. It better feel like 56 minutes. It better like it just yeah. This one I felt more light on it, and I felt like it was just like, okay, well, it didn't feel like 45 minutes. I felt a little bit longer in a way to where he kept a really good pace, like you said.
yeah.
Uh, Definitely different outcomes than what I expected here. And that's the thing too with Ted Lasso, you know, every now and then I'll get like it'll be predictable, but it won't be like every single character is predictable. It'll only be like one or two where
Yeah.
there's stories coming out. And dude, this is definitely unpredictable. I didn't expect this at all when it comes down to where these characters landed at the end of this episode, or even so in the beginning, because the way the last episode ended, right? I mean, so much unanswered questions that got answered in this episode in so many ways. And obviously we're talking about the Colin thing, with the vulnerability, with, um, obviously we didn't know exactly what was on Colin's phone, but we get the gist of it, right? I mean, we get the gist of it, what Isaac's reaction, we get the gist of it. And well, at the same time, though, we don't know. We can only speculate, right? Moviegoers out there, Ted Lasso fans out there, we can only speculate, the worst when it comes down to like, why is Isaac acting? Why is Isaac really how was his reaction? Because he didn't say anything. He just gave the
Yeah.
phone back to him, and just
And walked
and
away.
yeah, walked away, and Colin was just trying to say, hey, like he was just trying to get his attention. And yeah, definitely. And to know that he was going along with the guys, it's just like, oh yeah, girl, with all the girl pictures, especially Danny and all that, and I forget the French guy's name. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I forget.
Montclair.
Montclair. There you go. Yeah. Oh, dude. I mean, it really brings that story together, and it kind of gives you a little insight. And yeah, this definitely did not feel like it jumped, right? Or maybe it jumped a week. Or what did you think?
Maybe a week. I think it's like a week over
Yeah.
week type of thing.
It's real close. It's real close to last episode for sure.
Yeah, it might have been a little more too, because there was like one line. I don't. I'm not gonna spoil it, but there was a line that mentioned like a piece of time,
Yeah.
and it did sound like maybe a month, but I'm not too sure at this point.
Yeah.
Like I try not to focus a lot on it.
Yeah.
I know we bring it up a lot on the episodes when it's like tied to the story
Yes.
in
Yes.
itself. This one, it didn't really apply to the story, but perhaps it just gives us a measure of how long this went unresolved. um but once again, the episode addresses it, and we find ourselves seeing some characters also struggling, right? Like I know, especially with last episode, a lot of people felt that Roy like dropped the ball when it came to the giving Keely some comfort behind
Yeah. The
the
advice,
the
I
the
guess, in a
issue
way.
that
Yeah.
she got, right? Because he inquired about like, hey, who was that for? Which is very like, once again, at that point he's not making it about Keely. He's kind of like showing insecurities and asking for him, like for his sake.
Yeah.
um and so, like I said, and I think I called it on the last review, like I want to see an episode centered around Roy. And though we didn't get that, he's still a pivotal part of this episode here,
Yeah.
where we really see that a lot of us agree as an audience member that he's been needing some sort of like wake up call. And so I'm
Mhm.
not going to spoil anything other than that, but I think a lot of people are going to be very pleased with, you know, who do we see as someone that can approach Roy and kind of just be
Mhm.
like blunt, right? A lot of us
Yeah.
need that bluntness in our lives. And that's all I'll give you guys. Hopefully you guys tune into this episode, because I think once again that plays a key role in here as well.
Yeah. No, it definitely does here, and I wouldn't say, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't say this is like Roy Kent's episode, but
For
Roy
sure.
Kent does get a good development here. He does get a little
Yeah.
bit of good insight here to where his character slowly is creating a small little stepping stone along the way. I'm still
Yeah.
rooting for. I'm granted. I'll say it right now. I mean, it's not really a spoiler. Not really a spoiler, but I'm still rooting for Roy and Keeley. I still am. I don't care what anyone says out there. I'm still rooting for Roy and Keeley. That's all I'm saying. I'm hoping the comeback story comes very soon because we only got so many episodes left. And
Yeah.
yeah, it has to start
Three
quickly.
episodes
It
left.
has to start next episode for sure. It has to start. The
Well,
chemistry is gonna come together. That's all I'm saying. It's gonna sync.
yeah, I'm hoping the best for each of the characters. And speaking of hoping for the best for the characters, we do have as well on this episode a little bit more of Nate, right? Like
Yeah,
we've been used to in this season where there's some episodes where we actually skip like a Nate moment, but
Nate. Yeah,
recently, as he is once again showing signs of life in terms of
yeah.
who he really is as a person, I think the show has done a good job at kind of like what's the word? It's like
Starting
it's
off on
not
the dark side,
no
and
no
then
no no no.
yeah,
There's something.
yeah.
Is it spoon feeding? It's like it's feeding us slowly. I think the term is spoon
Oh, okay.
feeding,
Yeah,
but
spoon feeding. Yeah.
basically easing us into what I believe would be Nate's redemption, or at least us being able to understand that
Boo.
though what he did was not right. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is that he has the capacity to do right and to do the right things. So we get a little bit more insight on him and Jade's relationship, as well as Nate. Once again, having to make some decisions. I'm not going to spoil anything, but Nate himself needing to pretty much
He.
look at the step forward and
Yeah.
identify if it's the right step for him.
Yeah. In this episode, we Nate does have an obstacle. He does. He have an obstacle. Does he overcome it? I don't know. Let's find out in the spoilers review. But I mean, he definitely has an obstacle to really shine or be blind and just fail miserably, which
Yeah.
which is fine and dandy with me. But I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Nate, I'm not ready for that. We already knew it was coming.
You have
we knew
3 episodes to be ready because
we
it's
know it's coming.
yeah.
But I'm sorry. He did
I
Ted
don't know how
bad.
you're not
He did
seeing it,
Ted
bro.
bad.
But like,
He
I don't
did
know. Are
Ted
you just
bad.
ignoring all these
Yes,
steps?
yes, exactly. I am ignoring it. He did Ted wrong.
He
Comments down
did
below, guys. You
absolutely,
agree? He did Ted wrong. That's all I'm saying. Now, does
absolutely.
everyone deserve a second chance? I guess. I'm gonna say I guess. I guess so. But it's in the heat of the moment. In the heat of our reaction because we're all human. I just it still hurts. The wound still
Oh,
hurts.
for
That's all I'm
sure.
saying.
I think the show
Yeah.
will still need to do a really good job to convince everyone.
I just
And I
yeah,
don't
that's
know.
what I'm saying. 3 episodes left. Like, dude, what the heck?
A
I'm
lot can
telling,
happen.
dude, maybe Apple TV is gonna be like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, there's not just 3 episodes left. There's actually 5.
No,
Boom,
they're not gonna do
boom,
that.
boom. That's all I'm saying, guys. 15. No, there's more episodes. How about 15? Let's hit 15. Number 15, guys. 15 episodes on this series season finale. I'm excited for that. Again, this is not confirmed by by Apple TV whatsoever, but it'll be definitely interesting to see like, oh, we got another episode. We got a special episode. Oh,
I
sounds
don't know.
interesting, but
We'll
I
have to
highly doubt
see.
it. But yeah, I highly doubt it. But I just don't think it's too quick. Knowing where this episode ended, it's definitely going to be tough wrapping up all the characters unless every episode's over an hour. That's the only way to do it. And you never know. We'll
I
find
don't
out.
know, man, because the previous seasons have done a good job at closing this. I know it's not the same as
Really,
closing this
I was gonna say,
series,
have
but
they? Have they though? I
well, no,
mean,
no, no. But
yeah,
so what I was gonna say is, if you think about it, episode one, or I'm sorry, season one, season two, none of
yeah,
them had like cliffhangers. They were closed stories from beginning to end. I know it's not the same as closing out the ententire series if this is
yeah. I
indeed
was
the
gonna say,
end,
yeah, I was gonna say that.
but if you think about it, they've been able to do things with 12 episodes, 10 episodes in the case of actually 8 episodes in the case of season one. That was only 8 episodes long,
Yeah,
and those were 45-minute episodes. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, I do want these last 3 episodes to
yeah,
be long. If they give us what they've been giving us, 55, 50, I'm okay with that. I feel like that would let room to breathe for a lot of these like character
mm,
story arcs or whatnot. I'm just trusting that they can get it done with three
yeah.
episodes. It's just it depends. The execution is where it matters, right? So
Mhm.
I don't think there's much else that I can add to this without getting into the spoilers, which we're about to do here soon. But I know, Ryan, I know you like to call for the rating. Uh,
Yeah.
is that what we should do next?
Yeah, let's talk about that, man. Let's go to ratings real quick, and then we'll go ahead and jump right into the spoilers. So, ratings, Lex, what do you give this rating episode right here? 1 out of 10, 10 being the highest. What do you give this episode?
I think I'm gonna give this episode a 7.8. Yeah,
Whoa, that is
what?
low.
How is
That
that
is
low?
low compared to what you usually do. Let me give everything a 10. Let me give everything a 10.
Well, that's the thing. I don't give everything a 10.
Dude, I know.
I
I'm just
think,
messing with you.
and like I was gonna do an 8, but honestly, I'm gonna stick with 7.8. Once again, under Ted Lasso's measurement, like 7.8 to me, like is still
I mean,
really solid episode.
any measurement, that's still good. So I mean, yeah, I get that. Yeah.
No,
Damn, that's but compared to like your 9s and 10s,
for
you
sure.
yeah.
It's just once again, like it's.
Damn.
I think there's still 10s coming for sure.
Damn,
I'm very
bro.
confident.
Way to
in
be
that.
harsh, dude. Way to be harsh.
Harsh. Okay. What
Calm
are you gonna
down.
give it?
Yeah,
Really?
I'm gonna give it a 2. No, I'm just kidding. A harsh. No, guys, moviegoers out there. Yeah, Ted Lasso fans, you know, this episode really shed a lot of light into certain things. And I loved Roy Kent's speech in here. We guys will talk about it. I mean, Roy does have a speech in here that I love. And the thing is, here it is. I'm gonna try to say it the best way I can, guys. The storytelling is so damn good. I mean, the storytelling is so rich that I get lost in the stories that each of them tell. Right? It could be Ted. It could be Rebecca. It could be Keely. Whenever they do a story, when they're explaining a story, they do it so damn well. It's so well written that you get lost in it. It's so damn good that you get lost in it, and that it's like you're watching it on screen, but you're not, because they're telling the story, but you're putting yourself, I mean, not either yourself in their shoes, or you're watching them go through it. And it definitely is something to where it really hits home, and it's a heartwarming analogy in so many different ways because of that, and because of how well different people give speeches and slash stories about it. And it really hit home for me, and I really enjoyed this episode a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna give it a solid 8. I'm higher than you, man.
Nice.
Because more so because of how well written certain scenes are in
absolutely.
And then also how a serious, touching moment almost felt like, I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy 3, volume 3 all over again. James Gunn, oh my gosh. How someone could really make it to where a serious moment is happening, right? And then just casually make a comedy or make a joke, and just it feels so genuine.
Yeah,
and
like
it feels.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, right?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like, there's a difference between, like interrupting an emotional moment with a joke that just is out of place, and it's almost
Thor: Love and Thunder
to break the silence.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Versus organically transitioning in a response that someone would give. That feels natural, to the character and to the moment, and I see and I know exactly what you're talking about. But I think that's a solid and fair rating. Make no mistake, everyone. Like, my 7.8, I still, the same thing that Ryan is talking about. I think this is the show at its peak form in terms of being able to bring these characters to a path of progress. And I'm so excited for. Once again, the conversation around Colin and what it means for him to be able to express himself the way that he wants to.
I love that picture of him, by the way. and it's episodes like these, and granted, that's the thing, it's not one of their best episodes, but it's definitely episodes like these that I'm gonna miss. Definitely. Episodes like this. But let's get right to it, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, spoilers. We are going to talk about spoilers, guys. So if you have not seen this new episode 9, guys, if you have not seen it, or you just don't care like I do, put on comments down below. Stay tuned. We're about to talk spoilers. We're about to mention a lot of stuff here. So, by the way, spoilers, guys. Oh, on Lex's side.
This is where.
My left is my right. Yeah, my left is your right. Okay. Yeah, spoilers, guys. So we are going to talk about a huge spoiler here, guys. All right. And fair enough, you've been warned. Check out our other videos, guys, on our YouTube channel and our movie talk channel, trailer reactions, movie reviews. All right, let's get right to it, Lex. Okay, so first and foremost, we do start off with we're going to talk about every single scene here, but the episode does start off with the training, and it looks like the crowd's gotten a little bit bigger here. Looks like it
Yeah,
looks
well, I was
more,
happy to
yeah,
see that like the crowd is still there, but
yeah.
uh, I was surprised to an extent. But I was like, no, you know what? Like it's
It's gotten
still
bigger.
part of the open culture that Ted is establishing, and
It's like
for a
American
moment,
football.
yeah. But they don't do that every practice, do they?
Well, in high school they do. It's the parents.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
and
yeah.
it's the boosters.
This
It's
is
the
Premier League though.
I
It's a lot
know,
more prestige behind it.
true, but maybe he's. I mean, but granted though, you got to remember though, Ted did coach American football in high school, so that's all
I
I'm
thought it was
saying.
college. Wasn't it college football?
Oh, was it college? Oops.
I think
Okay, maybe I messed
it
up.
might
Okay,
have been high school.
okay,
I don't know.
maybe.
Those dudes look big.
You're
Oh,
right. Yeah,
we don't know. We're
yeah,
uncertain. I placed my vote on college, but I know it was definitely not NFL. But I yeah, I agree with you. It was a nice little surprise for me. Once again, it's almost like a way like Ted told Beard like the other day,
yeah,
where it was like, hey, it's their team. We're just borrowing it.
hmm,
So I think it's him just giving back to the community once again,
yeah,
and maybe making stronger fans out of the city or
yeah,
whatnot. But of course, more to talk here because there's the good side of fandom and then there's the bad side of fandom for sure.
yeah.
But we see the team getting on a nice groove. They've been on a winning streak, and we can see them all kind of like vibing together, with the exception of two gentlemen here. At
Isaac, yeah,
crossroads, right? Like Isaac and
yeah,
Colin. Ever
Colin,
since
yeah.
the once again not
Where he found
intentional
out
reveal.
where he found out. And if you don't know already, guys, we do apologize, but we mentioned the spoilers thing already. That Colin is actually gay, and we kind
Mhm.
of knew that already in what
Yeah, as
3
an
episodes
audience, we've
ago.
seen that.
Yeah, we saw that, but the locker room did not know. Now Isaac is the first one to know
And
about
he's
this.
acting indifferent to Colin, right?
Yeah,
Like,
man. So I was at so many different things. Where I was like, oh, is he upset because of the fact that and I was just I got one out of the three. The fact that he didn't tell him, or two, the fact that he saw him naked in the shower and like or just I don't know,
yeah,
just three that he feels vulnerable or violated because they seen each other, naked or whatever. But I mean, it's definitely
you
brings up a
never
lot
know.
of, yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
just never
never
know,
know.
and we're speculating here because there's a lot of different scenarios that could happen here. I mean, it definitely touches up on that, and it kind of leaves you questioning it, like this episode is centered so much on Colin, more so, and it touches a little bit on Keelan, a little bit on Nate, it has little sprinkles on it, but the
For
major
sure.
Sunday and everything of this Sunday, it's definitely going to be Colin here, and we see the team really not notice per se, right? Because they don't really notice it too much.
At
Um,
first, yeah, no,
yeah,
like,
yeah, they,
and I mean, they're all like synchronized, right? And during
yeah. I'm
practice, I guess,
surprised.
like, yeah, um, I think that's a good point.
Yeah,
We don't see the team really like spotting that per se.
yeah,
Um, I guess it's also just because like the team is so tight now that maybe
yeah,
they just don't see that scenario happening like without context, right? Like they don't see a scenario where people would act indifferent to one another, but that
yeah.
makes it so where maybe they should have spotted it. I know it's spotted like afterwards, like during a match where Isaac really gets triggered off and he's actually targeting Isaac,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Colin, to like you
Yeah.
shouldn't have done that, or the play, something like that. Um,
But he was more upset, I think, because a fan was yelling at him before, and then it just built up, and then it was just holding it in, I guess, in that
yeah,
way.
yeah, that's
Um,
true. It built
and
up.
yeah, and he was already upset with let's clarify. I mean, put context to the story. He was already upset, and we didn't know at this point though the outcome of it, which we'll mention at the very end of this conversation. But we didn't know what he was upset about, but it made sense at the end of this episode, right? Um,
Yeah,
and yeah, so a crowd actually, or a fan, right? It was a fan
yeah,
towards the end of the half. They actually yelled out the F word, and at the same time, we're like, there's like FUC. JB says it FUCK. He's all like, oh, he's all like, what's wrong with
he's
that?
like, we've heard
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
we've heard that, and then he's like, no, the other F word, and Jamie's all like, oh. Oh, and
yeah,
then even for a second there, I could have sworn Jason Sudeikis, he was like, huh? Like he was just what
Well,
like
that
oh, and
yeah,
he made
because
sense. Yeah.
when you think F40, you think
Yeah,
of like
you think
fuck.
yeah, you think of the FCGK. Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, what? What? Okay,
Yeah.
but I was like, because they've been saying it the whole time, and you kind of you like they really. I mean, we heard him say it, right? The fan. I can't remember.
They
Or no,
it
it
kind
was
of muffled out a
it
little
muffled
bit.
out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't like a bleep, but it was like it's meant to muffle in terms of the shock and the anger
Yes.
that Isaac
Yes.
was going through.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like horrible word, and it specifically struck a nerve, of course.
Yeah.
And we saw that, right, like towards the moment where Isaac was able to share a little bit more, but like, he was still holding it in.
Yeah.
He people in the locker room were trying to calm him down because he definitely escalated, right? Like he went up to the fan. He was
Dude, that was
confrontational.
crazy. Yeah,
You
I
don't
thought he
do
was
that.
gonna
It
hit him.
does happen in sports.
I thought he was gonna beat the shit out of him. I was
Yeah.
waiting for it. I was like, punch him, punch him, punch him. But then he was like, no. I was like, damn. I was
Well,
like,
he got
okay.
a red card because of it, right? And in the locker room, like people are trying to make sense of it. Like, why would he act like this? He's the captain, and even
We
if
were
you're
all
not the
like
captain,
this. We were all like calling
yeah,
right
we
here.
were
We're
all
like, what?
surprised. Like,
We're like,
what's
what
going
is
on?
going on?
Um,
Yeah.
but the team trying to comfort him and just kind of cool him down, like they even said, like, it's nothing that we haven't heard before, right? Because fandom, like the dark side of the fandom, like can get really brutal,
Yeah.
sports especially. But they talked about it, and Isaac was like, what if one of us is gay, right?
Yeah.
Like, how does
What
that
if one
make
of
it,
us is gay? And then he says it funny. He's like, what if one of us is gay? Come
well, it
on,
was a
man.
serious moment, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
like
know.
he
I know. I just can't. I'm sorry. I just. I don't know.
wow,
I
you
just.
kept laughing through all
I
the serious
dude,
moments,
bro.
man.
I'm no the way I don't know. It's just the way Isaac says. I don't know.
Isaac,
It's because
yeah.
whenever he yells and does and jokes with like that, and
Yeah,
I'm just like I don't. It just he's the same voice when he yells and jokes.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was
I
frustrated,
crack
and
up.
Isaac, yeah, like he has like a specific brooding persona and things like that. So, um, yeah, and that got people thinking, and
Yeah.
people then started speculating, like, oh, it's probably because Isaac's
Which
gay,
I
but
thought
we're
was
cool with that.
funny. I
Yeah,
thought that was hilarious. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. I just there was a scene where like, and I right after that, there everyone was looking at each other, and and then you're looking at Jamie, and Jamie's all like, "I'm
oh yeah,
flattered."
yeah.
Like I was cracking
Oh,
up
where it's
because they
because
kept looking at
yeah,
Jamie, but they were looking. I don't know if you noticed, the guy was sitting next to him. He
yeah.
was looking at his highlights, and he's all like.
Oh,
He's I was
I
just
didn't
like, oh,
notice.
he's all
Yeah,
like,
just
oh, I'm flattered. I was
yeah,
like,
I'm sure once again, if you guys
yeah,
are tuned into the spoilers, you've seen the episode, but for
yeah,
context, like, we're referring particularly within that same sequence, but they were talking about statistically, right? Like there has
yeah.
to be more than one gay person in the locker room or whatnot. And so people were like looking at, and yeah, JV, it is funny, and he was flattered and all that.
Yeah,
But that moment did lead to them pressure of, that speculation itself. I
yeah,
think Colin wanted to make sure that Isaac is not like, I mean, being gay is not something to be accused of, but
yeah,
what I'm trying to say is like Isaac, like people jumping to that conclusion where it's not right, the same way that it's not right to like assume if someone is straight or not, like things
yeah,
like that. He wanted to escape that, and he took that opportunity to come out to the team, which
yeah,
I actually liked from an artistic standpoint. I like the decision that they made to like so the camera cut away when Colin
yes,
revealed it to the team, and
yeah,
then the next time that we see them, it's like the team absorbing that information.
yeah.
And I kind of like that from an artistic perspective, because I
That was
think
good.
that like coming out is a precious and intimate moment where I think, like, creatively speaking, they took that out like on purpose to
Mhm.
make sure that it's almost like between him and the team, and like even us as audience member, like we're not
Didn't get that.
entitled
Yeah,
to that moment. Like I don't
yeah,
know, once again, maybe I'm like looking too much into it. That's
yeah.
how I interpreted it, and
No,
I think it was effective in that sense, because the scene that we go into, we're also
yeah,
seeing how Roy steps in as a leader and tries to,
yeah.
not even yell at Isaac, which is what he thought he was going to do, but just listening to him. And I think that was a powerful moment
Yeah.
for Roy as
In
well.
in that moment though, I'll be like I didn't expect I think that was the most point I kind of predicted was that I didn't expect Roy to because it's just you know when Roy's about to yell, his facial expressions,
Yeah.
and he kind of like prepares his face for it, right?
Hmm.
In this case, though, I didn't expect him to yell whatsoever. I expected him to be, a caring person, a caring teammate, a caring coach, and we saw that. And granted, granted we didn't get to see, the big reveal and everything, but I mean, when you think about it, they were right. There's more than one person gay in there, which was Trent. Which they were right. I didn't think about that. They
Oh
were
yeah,
right.
from the
Yeah, they're
statistic.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Like, I think they mentioned 10%, but
Yeah.
10% of the population. But uh, regardless, though, it's definitely, you're right. I mean, I completely agree. That was a pretty good moment. And I think about it, you actually enlightened me on that. It was that, oh, that's pretty good. I like that. I like that little special tender moment here, that he gets to reveal with the team and everything. And then more so, though, we actually got um, the real reason why Isaac, why he was upset. And it wasn't upset because he was gay, because a lot of people, I'm pretty sure a lot of people could assume that, right? That was the more logical thing. You're mad at him because he lied to you all these years, and that he is gay, and people want that, they really want to, jump to conclusions, just like we do, as all human beings do. And it's just, yeah, it definitely was one of those things to where I saw people comment saying, oh, he's mad because he's gay or whatever. I saw on
Yeah.
Twitter or whatever. But let's put into perspective here. Let's put it all in light. Let's enlighten the whole world right now. It wasn't because of that. It was more so because he didn't trust it, or he didn't believe he trusted him, even though they've known each other for all these years. To where,
Yeah.
why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me the most vulnerable thing that you can let out? But then Colin gets a really sentimental moment here, because he's like, I'm 99% sure that I could trust you, but that 1% scared the living shit out of me.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
he
and
explained it. He
yeah,
explained it great from the beginning. I was like, like the reason I didn't tell you, it's not because of you, it's because of me.
me, yeah,
And I think that was important because the moment that Isaac revealed like why he was upset, I'm
yeah,
like, well, it's not about you, dude. Like I
yeah,
I thought that in my head,
exactly. Yes,
but it's
exactly.
so easy
That's the whole
for us to
point.
fall into that trap.
Yeah, that's the whole point, though, is that, like, that's why I was kind of like, Isaac, I don't know if you're trying to make it about yourself or anything, but like, dude, it has
Yeah,
nothing to, I mean, it's your friend. I
for
get
sure.
it, but it has nothing to do with you in
Yeah.
an own personal level. I mean, yeah, like you're not, and I like the joke that that Colin makes. I know I'm jumping. I know, I like the joke that Colin makes. So like, did it go as planned? I think Trent asked him or something, or like, oh, second best, first best was that everyone comes out gay, and then we can all share,
Yeah.
or we could be on
We
the
can all come
Oprah
out on a
on
magazine or
on
something,
a magazine,
something like a
Oprah
calendar, I
magazine, I
think.
think, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and
Um,
but it definitely was touching moments there. And then of course, what does the press do? What does the paparazzi do? They ask questions. They want to
yeah.
know, why the f did Isaac turn like that? Because he's never really done that ever in the at all.
Yeah.
And so he's always kept his cool and everything. And so everyone's just like, why? And then we talk about it. What I already mentioned already was that Roy Kent does this amazing, really good speech that I really did like. And the thing too that we always talk about is storytelling. He gives out a really good story output out here, and he
Almost
really,
like Ted,
yeah,
right? He did the
yeah.
thing. So like,
Oh, and
Ted.
Ted gave a story. I forgot. Yeah, Ted gave a story beforehand.
Oh well, no, no, no. What I was gonna say is like that the way that he handled that presser
Yeah,
was similar to what Ted does, right? Like,
yeah,
when Ted was asked in season 2 about um the Greyhound that got killed by a shot from Danny Rojas and stuff like that, right? Like
yeah,
he didn't straight up answer that. He talked about a story that resonated with himself and kind of gives some insight to the media of
yeah,
the thought process behind it, and that's what Roy did. And I
yeah,
want to prefix before we talk more about Roy's like press speech, which was amazing, like you said.
yeah.
But I just wanted to prefix it with where we found Roy towards the beginning of the episode, where he was asked to fill in for Ted for another press
Yes,
conference. Which, once again, Roy, it's been established he does not enjoy those, but he was asked as
does it the Roy
a
way.
figure
He
of
don't do
power,
it.
right? He is a
Yeah,
coach, and like you said, the Roy way. Um, and he actually didn't show up, which was very surprising to me because I thought there would at least be an attempt.
mm,
And Rebecca called him out on it, and this is where I was talking on the non-spoiler part, right? Like
Hmm.
who can level with Roy and really get his, like, I don't want to say his head out of his ass, but really set him straight. And Rebecca was that person, and I think
Yeah.
it's a beautiful parallel to another time where Roy has helped Rebecca see things more clearly. Whenever in season 2, Roy talked to Rebecca about, like, when they went on a double date, Keely and him, and
Oh yes.
Rebecca and that dude,
Yeah.
um, and he was like, "Come on, for fuck's sake! Like, this guy's fine. Like, he's just fine. But you should be with someone that makes you feel like you was struck like lightning, all that
Yeah.
stuff." Another great Roy Kent moment, but it was a wake up call for Rebecca. And I think, once again, this is the parallel of Rebecca having a wake up call for Roy, because she, like, told him, like, the moment that, like, stuff is not fun, or it's a little hard, or whatever, like, you're walking away from these things, obviously referring in part to, like, Keely and his relationship. And she was like, you have to step up, like, get out of your own way, like, you're hurting you, like, get serious. And she
Yeah.
was, once again, we haven't seen Rebecca be that stern in a little while. Like, I know she was a
Yeah.
little bit towards Ted at some point,
Yeah.
but this was her, like, giving Roy Kent some Roy Kentness to, like,
Dude.
wake him up.
Yes, I forgot to mention. Yeah, she got so mad. I think she even said, "Are you just gonna quit when something happens? When it struggles? Are you just gonna damn quit? Or are you just gonna think you don't deserve it?" I
Yeah,
love that, and it's just,
she
it's really,
called him out.
dude. I'm just saying he that's why he broke up with Keely to begin with, because it was
Yeah,
just like,
he
you
doesn't
feel like
think
you
he
don't
deserved
deserve
her.
her, and I'm just like, dude, bro, what is wrong with you, bro? What is wrong with you, Roy? Come on, I'm still rooting for
Yeah.
you guys. The
It's
struggles.
a Roy versus Roy battle. So, once
Yeah,
again, I just wanted to
definitely.
share that, because I know the audience hopefully has seen that, but
Yeah.
I think that led up to a great moment, which, once again, was Roy taking the stage, and he
Yeah.
volunteered for that because Ted was going to address that, right? But he volunteered, he stepped up to the plate, and you could see how proud Rebecca was when he brought that story together. Uh, Great story, another
Yeah.
serious issue, right? Like, he talked
Yeah.
from his own experience of a time where
I
he
I feel
did an
like
asshole thing, right?
yeah, I feel like Ted is growing on him when it comes down to those story
Oh,
plots.
well, yeah,
He's definitely
absolutely.
learned. Like, that's the
Well, I
thing.
think
Yeah.
we've talked about it multiple times during these episodes, Ryan. Like, we've talked about how, like, we almost say it like a verb, but, like, people online also say, like, yeah, the team is doing Ted Lasso things without Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Like, when they all stepped up, and they were helping Sam fix his restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Like, we saw that,
Yeah.
where,
That
like,
was good.
Ted is not Ted doesn't have to be there for those magical Ted things to happen. And
Hmm.
I think that this is truly a special transformation that the team and the club has gone through, where Ted spread that positivity and, like, wildfire, and now everyone is now an engine for that same positivity, support, healthy relationships, like honesty and loyalty, all those things, whatever you want to label them.
Yeah.
People are becoming, it used to start with Ted, but now it's starting with each individual person in this
Yes.
show. And it's a beautiful thing. And I want to call out real quick, like,
Mm.
I think Trent is, since he's writing a book, like, Trent is almost like us as an audience member. Like, you can start seeing him, like, more hyped out of certain things. But right after the call in, coming out moment during the halftime,
Hmm.
as everyone left the room, you could see Trent for a moment. He looked back at the locker room and he kind of stared and smiled and stuff like that. To me, that was him kind of, like, once again looking at this locker room and just seeing how transformed this place is now because of how supportive everyone was towards Colin, and they said the right things. I know Ted, like, made a joke and there was a moment of, like, back and forth there, but, like, Ted really let him know, like, we do care and we're here for you.
Yeah.
So it was such a beautiful moment for me. It's like one of my favorite things about this episode. It was just Trent kind of boasting in the glory of, like,
Yes.
this is a special place. Like, there's
Yeah.
something here, and that's why he's doing a book about it.
Yeah. No, definitely, definitely. And I love those moments, man. I love those Ted Lasso moments. And even though, like you mentioned earlier, I love those Ted Lasso moments, especially when Ted Lasso's not even doing them or he's
Yeah.
not even present in the room. And one thing you forgot to mention was Trent 2. I like Trent 2 better. Or like is
Oh,
that
the other
yeah,
dude. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
He's I think
yeah.
he says Trent 2 if I'm not mistaken.
So
Um
Roy labeled him as that, but like he
yeah.
has, like, yeah, he's introduced himself with his own name. Like he's just working for the Independent now.
Yeah.
So like that's why Roy. I think Roy did call
That
him
was
like
funny.
Trent Two or
Trent
something like
2 and
that.
he's like I like you better than Trent.
Yeah, I
Like
like you better than Trent.
and Trent laughed cuz he was in using the back of that.
Yeah,
And Becca you know the crazy thing is, you know what I effing love, what excuse my French, what I fucking love is that I love it when we're as shocked as the characters are.
yeah.
Cuz Becca, Keely, even the Diamond Dog, I was like, "What?" I said, "Come on, man!" He's all like he does.
Oh, Leslie.
Leslie, he's all. I was like, "What?
Yeah,
How
he
are you
was like,
gonna
I
do
don't
your
know how
boy
this
like
is gonna
that?
go.
How are you gonna do your boy like that? That's your like, come
Well, you
on."
know, Roy can't press. Like it doesn't always go well.
I know, but still, like, you back up your man, and yeah, it was just. I was like, "What?" Already giving up on him. And yeah, I just Keely, it surprised a lot of it surprised a lot of people in there. And we go back to the storytelling. We go back to where Ted grows on Roy and as I believe Ted has really grown on the team already that we've seen obviously, and has grown to make Roy a better coach / better person. In
Yeah,
so many ways, uh, and then vice versa as well. Because I think in all reality, just like us, we all learn from each other. We all learn each other. We correct each other to the best of our knowledge, and we try to, make each other better. We try to make each other grow as human beings, as individuals, and people, and everything. And then Roy Kent does mention something here that I'm going to talk about the whole speech, but I do want to mention because I do mention it a lot on the Movie Talk channel, guys. Is that Roy mentions a serious note here where Isaac. Everyone wants to know why Isaac went, crazy or went berserk, and everyone wants to know. And I think so many times is that we forget that they're actual people like you and me. We forget movie fans, movie studios, executives, producers, actors, actresses. Ben Affleck is a prime example to where he was going through a divorce. He was going through being an alcoholic.
alcoholic.
Yeah, it's a lot, and we get pissed off because I was pissed off at some of the performances out of there, and I was all like, "Oh crap." You don't realize, and we all do it. We all do it. I mean, it's hard. We all get lost in those moments because we keep forgetting. Even basketball, when I was in the Spurs with Tim Duncan, Ginobili, Tony Parker, the trio is like you get mad if Ginobili missed a shot, but then what if he's frustrated about an argument he had with his wife? What if he's going through another struggle in his mind or a struggle with his personal life that we
Yeah,
don't
you
even know
never
about?
know what's
Yeah,
going on,
and I love that so much because I talk about it all nonstop on the Movie Talk channel is that you don't know what movie stars are going through, and you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I learned my lesson, but they're people just like you and me.
yeah,
And I like, of course, is that it's none of your business. That's all I'm saying. And I like
yeah,
what Roy said about that. And then, yeah, and then, I do want to touch up on Keely real quick. Is
yeah.
that we got closure that they are officially done. They're not together no more. So
Yeah,
I'm
they
rooting
had
for
talked about a break, but
yeah,
then they mentioned
it's
that like
official now.
Jack was in Argentina for a couple months
Months.
or for a few months,
So
which
that
yeah,
means Roy and Keely, baby. Let's go, Roy and Keely. But I'll
no,
leave it
and
at
you
that.
could see
Yeah,
that Keely was definitely bummed.
she
Keely
is.
did
But
reach out but got no reply. It's just
yeah,
it's a true understanding that like Jack is not someone that steps in. Jack literally
yeah,
walked out on Keely,
yeah.
and it showed
Never
like
came back. Yeah.
yeah, it showed that like she just
Yeah.
escaped the situation.
I knew that was
And
gonna happen. That's all I'm saying. I knew
yeah,
it. I knew it. It was, and it has nothing. Again, we talk about it so many times. We knew it was gonna end bad. It didn't end as badly as we predicted because we expected her to be salty and to like get the investors out and like what was one of our predictions? One of my predictions was that this could go one or three ways. Professionalism and pleasure. You don't mix them together. And yeah. But regardless of
yeah. I think
regardless
at
if
the end
it's
of the
this,
day, they're
yeah.
still adults, right? I
Yeah,
disagree with how
which
Jack
I
handled things, but
yeah, which I think more
still
so
adults.
because I like the way Keely said it. She was just like, because I think Ted is like, oh, you're heartbroken, and she's like, no, more like heart bent.
Yeah,
So she's not heartbroken, which means who does her heart belong to then? belongs to Roy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well,
I'm
I
rooting
think
for
that's
him.
also Keely just showcasing her strength, right? Like
All
it
right,
takes a
forget
lot
you.
to break me. That's all I'm
Kill my
thinking.
mood, Lex. Just keep killing
No,
my
no, no.
mood. I
I'm
was
just
kidding.
thinking because even Ted was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I really like that." Like it's very like
yeah.
once again, I feel like he saw the strength in that statement.
Roy.
But yeah, perhaps
She has
Keely
Roy on her
definitely was
mind.
not as involved
Yeah,
in affectionately
I
like
think it was more
connected.
lust. It had to have
I
been.
don't know. I don't want to go. I get what you're saying, but it's
Yeah,
because saying that also kind of puts Keely in a position where we think that she would just let that lead
yeah,
her. But
true.
I do think like Keely
But she
had
did say
like
she was vulnerable and lonely. That's all I'm saying. So it could be
no,
that
for
too.
sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
she did
But
admit to that.
they did date for longer than what we think. Like to us, it felt like 3 episodes, right? But
Yeah,
it's probably longer
it
than
was a
that.
month. I think we
Um,
calculated or something like
but
that. But
I totally
yeah,
get what you say. Once again, I said this early on too that it felt very material, but not to say once again that Keely. I think Keely appreciated that, but Keely did have a connection to an extent. She made her
yeah,
feel like safe and listened to and stuff like that. But once again, she walked out. I called it in last episode where there is a chance that we don't see Jack again. It
yeah,
seems like it's going in that direction. There's still 3 episodes
definitely.
left, obviously, but that's good for you to point out as
Yeah.
well, Ryan, because it is important.
All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump right into Nate and Jade. So Nate actually introduces Jade to Rupert, which I thought
Yeah.
was a bad move. You can feel the dark side going within you. You can feel the
Yeah.
dark side of the Force, the Emperor himself, Emperor Rupert, coming right into the doorway, and it's just his creepy mentality. Dude. I still
Yeah,
can't
he's
believe
so
that.
full of
I
himself.
just can't believe that's freaking Giles from Buffy and the Vampire Slayer. I still can't. He's still crazy because that's the nerd Giles that gets beat up by vampires in the whole series, pretty much.
Yeah,
And yeah, he's totally. That's called acting, right? He's a totally different character than what he is now.
for sure.
But yeah, it surprised me, and I didn't expect Nate to introduce her right away. I guess because what he
Well,
walked in, yeah,
yeah, he just walked in, and also he didn't know
yeah,
that Jade just surprised him with lunch and stuff
yeah.
like that. So I don't think it was like planned out for sure.
The other thing was planned though. The other obstacle that Nate had to
Yeah,
encounter and everything, and
but you could see.
we kind of
Oh,
knew
I'm
though.
sorry.
Well, sorry, go. So we kind of knew that like Nate was very not shocked but surprised, I
Mhm.
guess, or like in how do you say it? Not surprised, but like more, I guess, surprised in a way to where when he finds out that Rupert's cheating on his wife, and he found out, I think it was like a few episodes ago, right, when they went to that
Yeah, it
same
was a bit
bar.
ago, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was the same episode that Rebecca found out.
Yes. Yes. When they fought
And he
West Ham.
and we
Go-
could tell that he was uncomfortable, right? Like,
Yeah. I was, and because I mean, he thinks, and that's the thing too. I mean, that's awesome of him that on certain level, he's actually level headed on that part.
yeah,
Granted, he still backstab people's in the back. It's cool, he's still back. It's fine, whatever it is. But redemption story, I'm not ready for it. But we do get a little redemption on him being, the good guy here. We see that. We see that him come
well,
out in a lot because
yeah,
Rupert tries to throw a hot woman on him, I guess, in a way to where like, oh, yeah, this was guys'
just
night.
teach him in his
Yeah,
ways, like the
yeah,
ways of infidelity, and but
dude, I
he's
know.
doing it so like just it's not even more that he wants to take him under his wing. He wants to like just bring
Control.
someone down,
He wants to
control,
control.
like
Yeah,
knowledge is power. Like
it's
he wants to have
control.
dirt on him.
The
Like it's
Emperor.
all this stuff, and then
Yeah,
even the way that he introduced himself with Jade, like even he did this thing called negging where like you give a
yeah,
negative compliment to someone, and he did that with Nate because
yes,
he said like in looking at Jade is like if it wasn't for um I don't know. He said something. If it wasn't for this, I would even like say that you're out of his league, type of thing.
yeah,
Like with an eight, and that's like like that's like a shitty thing to say. Like he just
yeah,
wants to bring Nate down, feel that he's in control, and once again trick him into this thing, like you said, that like,
yeah.
hey, let's
He
go
wants to
for a
control his
guys' night out,
emotions.
just the two of us, and things like that.
Hmm.
And I'm so glad that Nate was able to, he didn't
That
stood up
shocked me.
to Rupert,
Yeah,
but he exited
walked away.
that yeah,
Yeah,
and he was firm because like
dude.
he could have
Yeah,
been like, oh, why are you leaving? But he was firm on one thing. Like instead of saying like, hey, I think I'm gonna leave, he said like, oh no, I just wanted to tell you in person that I'm leaving, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, it's not like, I don't know, like blah blah blah. He was
Yeah.
more like, but I'm so happy that Nate exited from that. And I found it super touching that like he just
Yeah.
went straight home to Jade, and he went there, and like
Hugged her.
she opens the door and just hugged her. Like he wasn't there for like
Yeah.
a kiss to validate like their connection, or he just needed some comfort, because he did in part, I think, felt cheated out of like what he thought could be just a bonding moment with Rupert.
No.
He's still someone that he looks up to, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, wrong person to look up to, but
Yeah.
Nate still is connected by that, like that he needs some sort of validation by some sort of father figure, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And but it was super sweet. It does seem like Jade grounds him. Jade, I sense that Jade also saw like some wrongs with the way that Rupert present, because when he left, she even said like, well, he seems wealthy, right? Like she didn't say he seems nice. She
Yeah.
needed, she did say some things like trying to play nice like
Mm.
for Nate, but she didn't, and we saw when Nate was trying to be fake in front of her, she called him out on his bullshit. So I feel
Yeah.
like Jade is someone that sees past that BS, and she can already see that Rupert is probably just piece of crap. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I love that there's still progress here, right? Like not
Yeah.
only for Nate's individual story,
Nate
but
gets a little redemption here. He does on character,
and I don't
but
know, Nate and Jade is I don't know. I keep
Nate
saying
and
I
Jade.
think it's a
Yeah.
good couple. You know what I'm saying? Like
Whatever, Lex. I'm still
I'm
not agreed. The
sorry.
backstabber Nate. He'll always be a backstabber. He has 3 episodes to convince me otherwise. But yeah, it's only 3 episodes left. I hope they're all over an hour. I'm hoping it'll be a season high long run time. It needs to be. That's all I'm saying. And in order for me
Yeah,
to be happy, because I just can't believe, dude. I can't believe this
I
crap.
know, dude. It's coming.
Ugh,
Um,
heartbreaking,
yeah,
heart benting.
heart benting.
Yeah. All right, guys. But thank you so much for making this a part of your day. Then if you tune in this long and listen to our podcast on this platform, because I know you guys do, be sure to subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and vice versa. Or if you listen to us on our YouTube channel, be sure to like us on our or like, share, subscribe to us on our podcast platform, because we do know this video is kind of long and you're not able to watch the whole time. That's totally fine. You can listen to us on this audio track wherever a podcast can be found. Thank you guys once again. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. aka Ryan 680.
And this was Lex. Thank you, everyone.
Catch you later, guys. Like, share, subscribe to us. Peace out, San Antonio. Latest.